There was a lot of speculation about the timing of Coach Morris' dismissal and how it played into this. Can you kind of go over the timeline of how this whole thing came about and whether it was necessary to make that move to get to where we are today?
You know, obviously, from an evaluation standpoint of any program that we have here, it's an ongoing process. It's not just one that comes into play. We started looking at football probably at the end of 2015. We started to look over the course of the last 2 years. We certainly haven't performed at the level that we all want to see. And so I needed to make the determination that it was time to make a change. The fact that we did it when we did was timely only in that, one, it gave us an opportunity to talk to Chip. But also, it was important because the NCAA has adopted a new signing period on December 20th. And if you know you're going to make a decision, it probably makes sense to make that decision sooner than later so that you begin the process. I mean, you never know how this process is going to unfold. We were very fortunate that Chip was our #1 target. We went after him, we got him, and it happened relatively quickly. Had it not, then this could have been extended over a period of time. We're pushing up against that December 20th deadline. And so we're very fortunate that it worked out the way it did.
What's going through your mind when you see that Florida sends all these people up to New Hampshire? It's the AD, it's the president, everything, and obviously you guys had already made a big move at that point with Jim. I mean, is it, hey, we got to get this thing done? Is it put even more urgency on it, or how do you handle it as an administrator?
Well, any athletic director worth of salt is always prepared for, I'm not going to say the inevitable, but the potential that something might happen, whether a coach leaves on their own volition or whether you make a move. And so we certainly had our ducks in a row in terms of how we were going to move forward in this regard. It didn't really matter what was taking place at other parts of the country. With him, we knew that he was our target. We zeroed in on it and needed to have an opportunity to get in front of him. And we felt that with what we have to offer here at UCLA today, that we could be very appealing to him. And in fact, that's the way it worked out.
When was the first time you were in front of him in person? And who else was present for that meeting?
We met with Chip on Monday. I can't remember the exact date, but it was that Monday. I had a CEO athletic director dinner in San Francisco at the Pac-12 offices on Sunday evening. We made the contact and were able to get him in town in San Francisco. It was myself, Josh Rebholz, and Chancellor Bach that met with him.
And during the course of that meeting, did it become pretty clear to you guys that he had a lot of interest? Were you confident coming out that he would be the coach?
You know, when you go through a process like that, it's all about ascertaining mutuality of interest. We had done our homework. I mean, we know that Chip was really into student-athlete development, that was really a primary focus for him, which we feel is a great strength for us here at UCLA. The fact that we were able to upgrade our facilities such that we feel that we're as competitive in that regard as anyone else in the country. You know, the Los Angeles factor is obviously big in many respects, and the fact that you don't really need to go out of state to recruit great student athletes that can win at a pretty high clip for you. And all those factors, I thought, really were important as to determining whether he had an interest in us and we had an interest in him. So immediately we clicked.
At what point did he tell you for sure that he was in?
Oh, it was a process. You know, I mean, you know, that first day was an extended period of time together where we just flushed everything out from A to Z in terms of football, in terms of all the other factors that are important to this process. And then we began the dialogue after that, never knowing full well whether it was actually going to take place. But we were aggressive, and we knew that we had to be aggressive, and we're committed to that. We're resolute, and that Chip we felt was the right guy for us. And so we continue to push and work hard to ultimately get that commitment.
What day did it actually come? Was it Thanksgiving? Was it Friday?
No, it was actually, we had a pretty good sense by the end of the week that we were going to be able to get something done. And then you have to go through the process of working out a deal and doing negotiations. And we did that. And we knew that Chip was going to be our coach on Saturday.
Was it important? You guys had a game on Friday. You have seniors. Was it important for you to kind of hold off, hope ideally till Saturday before it got out?
Was it important?
Like, I mean,
it was. It was. I mean, it was actually consummated on Friday, and so after we were able to seal the deal for the most part, I talked to Jed after the game. I let him know what the circumstance was and that we were going to follow up the following day as it relates to continuing with the team as we work into the bowl game, but that also we were going to make an announcement on Sunday morning. He understood it, and we had a plan in place, and we executed it.
What were Chip's biggest questions about the job and everything that came with it?
You know, honestly, it really wasn't so much about the football aspect as much as it was about the leadership development. His interest in nutrition, sports science, those kinds of things, which fell right into our wheelhouse. Those were the critical elements to him. And also the ability to, as he would say, to clothe and feed, the student athletes, to take care of his assistants and make certain that he would be able to have the right team in place to be able to accomplish the vision that we all have.
And then how much was the offsets from the NFL clubs that are paying him? How much was that a factor in terms of the contract?
It really wasn't much of a factor. For us, we negotiated the best deal that we could, that we felt we needed to in order to be able to land him. I think Chip will tell you it's really not all about the money for him, and that worked well for us.
Yeah, show cause, how much positive did that give you?
Well, we did our homework in that regard. We did a lot of reference checking. We spoke to a lot of his student athletes. We spoke to administrators. I spoke to two individuals who I have great respect with at the NCAA in enforcement. And on the basis of that due diligence, we felt that we could go ahead. As you well know, I hired a coach that also had a history of NCAA issues, and he came here and was a compliance dream. So I don't anticipate any issues in that regard.
How difficult was it to get a $12 million buyout from athletic department generated sources?
Well, it's really interesting. When you talk about where UCLA athletics was in 2002 when they first got here and where we are now, certainly that wouldn't have been an option back in the day. But we've really built our support base, our financial resource base over the course of the years. Certainly the signing of Under Armour and the contract that we were able to attain from them really helped in that regard. The deal that we have with WME-IMG, great partners for us on our third-party media rights, that also helped as well. And frankly, what's going to help is the expected spike in season ticket sales that we expect from our fan base. I mean, this was a hire that we hoped would energize our fan base, get them excited. They need to step up and to help us build this program.
Have you seen signs of that? There was about a $5 million check being written. Did that happen?
There have been spikes already that we're very, very pleased to see. But of course, it's a long process, and we're hoping that we get a lot of folks who may have dropped off back into the fold.
Did you talk with any other candidates during this process?
Talked to no other candidates. We certainly had a short list, a very diverse pool, and we were ready to move on that if it was necessary. And thankfully, it was not.
What went into the decision to rope Troy Aikman into that search committee to find Chip Kelly?
We're very strategic in that regard, both with Casey and with Troy. Troy obviously has great respect, across the country, both at the college level and at the NFL level. And we knew that having Troy in the mix with an opportunity to actually speak to Chip would be of great benefit to us. Of course, Casey is well known as well in football circles at all levels again, and certainly having Casey involved with an opportunity to talk to Chip meant a lot, to him. So the combination of the Chancellor, Casey, and Troy, Josh, who really did a lot of the legwork and helping out in the negotiation with me, really was the right combination to actually land Chip Kelly, and that's how it worked.
Can you expand a little bit more on Casey's role in the search?
Well, Casey made phone calls for us, provided me with a lot of guidance and wisdom as we thought through the possibilities. and just with, I mean, he's always been there, but this is a gentleman that has built an empire and certainly knows how to interact with people, how to develop relationships, how to make inroads where inroads were needed, and he was really supportive in that process.
Again, congratulations.